Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the highly complex, unadvertised role of the chair of the management board at Germany's GIZ, using a structured strategic guide. Think about the most high-stakes corporate jobs in the world for a second. Usually they come with incredibly public headhunting, massive press releases, and a very clear corporate ladder. But today, we're looking at a position that operates on an entirely different frequency. We're talking about the leadership of the Deutsche Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit, or GIZ, which is Germany's principal implementing agency for international development. This is a role that literally dictates how billions of taxpayer dollars reshape global stability. It blends the ruthless discipline of a corporate CEO with the delicate touch of a high-level diplomat, and it directly impacts international trade, crisis management, and the geopolitical landscape we all navigate. Let's break it all down. Here's a quick look at our roadmap. 1. An unadvertised leadership role. 2. The dual corporate identity. 3. A blended global mandate. 4. Navigating the governance web. And 5. The strategic framework.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, an unadvertised leadership role.
So, it's a pretty fascinating puzzle, right? You aren't going to find this on a standard job board, and you definitely can't just click Easy Apply on LinkedIn. The conventional rules of corporate recruitment simply do not apply here. So, how does it actually happen?
Well, instead of a standard interview pipeline, the position is filled through a highly specific governance appointment process. This was built from the ground up by the German federal government and the GIZ Supervisory Board. It's an appointment born out of strategic consensus. The government acts as the shareholder here, meaning we are talking about a major global superpower strategically placing an individual who can best navigate the intense demands of their geopolitical and developmental agenda.
That brings us to Section 2, the dual corporate identity.
Now, what's really interesting is that despite being a federal enterprise, GIZ legally operates as a GmbH, which strictly binds it to commercial legal requirements. For those not familiar with German corporate law, a GmbH is a private limited company. This means the chair isn't just some government bureaucrat. They are legally accountable as a corporate executive. They have to adhere to strict legal compliance, enforce sound business principles, and maintain absolute financial discipline. If the books don't balance, it's a corporate failure, not just a policy one.
So the share is basically locked in this high-wire balancing act. They must simultaneously act as a strict corporate CEO managing profitability and risk, while wearing a second hat as a diplomatic instrument executing German foreign and development policy. Imagine trying to satisfy the legal and commercial expectations of a limited company while making absolutely sure that every single one of your programs faithfully serves the geopolitical objectives of the German federal government. It is a constant, immense tension between the boardroom and the embassy.
Let's move on to Section 3, a blended global mandate.
To truly understand the pressure of this dual identity, we have to look at the staggering operational reality on the ground. The scale we're talking about is truly breathtaking. The chair oversees active deployments across more than 120 distinct legal, cultural, and political environments worldwide. We're not just talking about office buildings in major capital cities. We are talking about massive, complex operational footprints. And then there's the human element, managing a globally distributed workforce of tens of thousands of staff, mostly national personnel in their local countries. Fostering inclusion, ensuring continuous learning, and managing human resources at this incredible scale requires an absolute masterclass in global leadership.
Finally, they're responsible for an annual business volume in the billions of euros. This demands intense financial stewardship. Remember, this isn't venture capital money that can afford to fail. This is public taxpayer money entrusted to the organization by the German government, the European Union, and international clients. Every single euro has to be accounted for with absolute corporate transparency. And this massive scale is applied to an increasingly blended mandate. The world is getting more complex, and GIZ's work reflects that. They're moving way beyond just traditional technical cooperation, stepping deeply into humanitarian and peace-building efforts. So when your staff are deployed in fragile, conflict-affected areas, your role as CEO suddenly heavily involves corporate security, intense risk management, and the very real physical safety of your people.
Okay, Section 4, Navigating the Governance Web.
With such high stakes, the chair absolutely doesn't act alone. Unlike a conventional corporate chief executive who might just answer to a single board of directors, the chair must answer to an intricate web of stakeholders. You have the shareholder giving government directives. You have the supervisory board ensuring legal and business compliance. But they also have a board of trustees and a private sector advisory board constantly injecting external research, business realities, and societal concerns right into the decision-making process.
In fact, this quote perfectly captures why this governance web exists in the first place. It's specifically designed to maintain that delicate equilibrium between strict business practices and societal responsibility. It's a purposefully engineered web to ensure the organization never swings too far toward becoming a cold, profit-driven corporation, nor does it become a financially undisciplined government agency. The chair is essentially the pin holding that entire web together. And finally, Section 5. The strategic framework.
To manage all of this, the guide translates the chair's role into 50 distinct strategic points. And to make it manageable and future-proof, each of those 50 points is broken down consistently into 10 durable analytical dimensions. Whether the chair is dealing with a new public-private partnership or managing operational risk in a war zone, they filter the problem through these 10 lenses. What's the rationale? Who are the stakeholders? What's the risk? How does technology play a part? It creates a living, breathing framework.
When it comes to the core governance duties, the first priority is leading the management board strictly within that GmbH framework. It's all about regulatory coherence and economic efficiency. The chair has to ensure that every single move aligns with the Articles of Association and the direct resolutions handed down by the shareholder.
Now, interestingly, the source's strategic points emphasize that this economic regulatory framework heavily intersects with global systems. It even actively prioritizes international civil aviation and the objectives of ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, to ensure safe, sustainable global connectivity. This might seem like a bit of a surprising twist, but it brilliantly illustrates how deeply interconnected global development really is. Infrastructure economics and safe air travel aren't peripheral at all. They are absolutely core enablers of trade, tourism, and development, especially for small island nations and developing states.
Whether they're dealing with global infrastructure or internal corporate rules, the chair's framework relies on evidence-based guidance to reduce friction and build predictable investment conditions. By prioritizing these harmonized practices, the chair helps prevent costly disputes between states and industry stakeholders. It gives the international community and the markets the confidence to actually plan and invest over multi-year horizons. It's all about creating resilience and predictability, taking the chaos out of international development and replacing it with sustainable, structured growth.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Is this unique, unadvertised role, this specific blend of corporate discipline and public diplomacy, the blueprint for the future of global leadership? The world's problems are arguably just too complex for traditional corporate CEOs now, and they require way more agility than standard government bureaucracy can provide. This hybrid model might be exactly what the organizations of tomorrow need to survive and make a real impact. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the unseen, complex, and vital role of the GIZ chair.